So in this video, I want to talk about some Sun and Moon booster boxes because within the last year, all these booster boxes have gone up so much, pretty much all of them at least doubling in price from where they were a year ago until now. And it sort of just proves that Sword and Shield, the prices you're seeing for a lot of these booster boxes, anywhere from 350 all the way up to even you could say $2,000 with Evolving Skies. Within all those price ranges for all those different booster boxes, Fusion, Strike, Shielding Rain, Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, whatever it is, they're all still good buys. And it is rough because, yeah, recently we just saw a huge price surge with Sword and Shield boxes across the board. Some of them went up 25%, some of them went up 50%, some of them doubled in price. And it is rough because you're like, wow, a month ago I could have bought these for so much less. And it's a hard pill to swallow. But if you really sort of widen the scope a little bit and you think about, okay, these Sword and Shield booster boxes, they're what, 3, 4 years old? And you think about where these prices are going to be in 3, 4 years from now. I mean, the prices you're seeing now, they're going to seem relatively cheap. But obviously, if you look at the short term and you look at what's happened recently, you're like, yeah, it's too expensive. But I want to show you guys Sun and Moon boxes here. Now, Sun and Moon, at this point, a lot of the sets are probably anywhere from maybe 5 to 7 years old, somewhere around that range. And I wanted to pick some of the better sets in the Sun and Moon era in the booster boxes to show you guys that, so Sword and Shield, the boxes you can buy right now from anywhere from $350 to $2,000. You look at these booster boxes and how they performed, them being now 5 to 7 years old. It doesn't really matter right now, even though the boom and the surge just happened with Sword and Shield. You wait 2, 3 years. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be exactly the same growth because obviously you can argue Sun and Moon was printed less than Sword and Shield, and people argue about that every single era, that the current era is printed more than ever, and then it's going to take longer for it to go up. It's going to be worthless, whatever. If the pattern is similar to Sun and Moon, a lot of these prices you're seeing now, in a few years from now, they're going to seem very cheap. So I wanted to take you guys through some of these Sun and Moon booster boxes here that just a year ago, comparing what the prices were back then to now, it's like a lot of this stuff, when they get to this price range in the high hundreds, within a couple years, they could see extreme growth. So first here, we have Unbroken Bonds. Now, I have to sort of use price charting because price charting takes listings from eBay and stuff and TCG Player for boxes of this age and price point. You can't get accurate data, and a lot of these boxes won't actually show any data for like a year chart because there's not enough sales. So you do have to use price charting to actually see the charts. And price charting isn't always the most accurate, I've noticed, but it gives a somewhat like range of where the prices were back then. So Unbroken Bonds, you can see here, a year ago, you can see it's highlighted here. A year ago, they were $600. And you can plus or minus a few, like $100 or so, because like I said, it's not always 100% accurate, but they're around this price, $600. And that was only a year ago. You look at where they're at now, and you can see here, 1,500. What is that growth? Over 100% within a year. Now, if you go on eBay sales, which I don't know why it skipped here, you can see they've actually been selling for more. Recently, they've been selling for around $1,800. So, yeah, but like I said, the prices on price charting, like the $600 could have been $800, somewhere around there. But it's crazy, the growth, right? In just a year, it more than doubled in price. Next, Unified Minds. Unified Minds a year ago was around the same price as Unbroken Bonds. As you can see here, $680. Where is it at now? $1,600. You look on eBay, you can see they've actually been selling a little bit more. This one sold for $1,800. This one sold for $15. But the wrap's kind of messed up. $1,650, $1,700. You get the point. It's over doubled in price. Cosmic Eclipse, a year ago, this was one of the more expensive boxes. Was $850. I remember this being around $1,000 not too long ago, and I was actually considering buying one of these, but I didn't. Where is it at now? $2,000. You go to eBay, you can see they've actually been selling for a little bit more, a little bit north of $2,000. So it's more than doubled in price in a year. Team Up. This is a huge one. I remember this being around $2,000 to $2,500. And I was like, this is crazy. This booster box being this expensive. And, you fast forward a year later, these are selling for over $5,000. You actually look at sales. Most recent one sold $6,500. You scroll, $6,000. So this has pretty much tripled in price in just a year. Ultra Prism. Not one of the more popular boxes. This one I think was in like the $300 to $400 range a year ago. Where is it at now? $1,200 on price charting. You go to most recent sale, $1,600. You can see the sale was $1,000, but that was kind of an anomaly. It's selling for around $1,300 to $1,500, and just a little bit ago it was around $400. It's crazy. Lastly, here, Lost Thunder. Lost Thunder about a year ago was $600. Now it's $1,000. If you look at recent sales, it's actually more than that. So it's pretty much doubled in price. So, as you can see here, when you widen the scope a little bit and you look at the Sword and Shield prices right now, yes, we just saw them go up. I get it, it's hard a pill to swallow. But you wait 2 to 3 years when it gets to the age of what like Sun and Moon is right now for a lot of these boxes. If this trend continues with Pokemon continues to do well, market continues to be strong, I don't think Sword and Shield is not gonna perform as well as Sun and Moon. I think Sword and Shield honestly is more popular era than Sun and Moon. I don't think that's that hot of a take. And like I said, 2-3 years. In that time frame, these boxes that just got out of print in the last year, they get more scarce. More scarce. I don't see how Sword and Shield doesn't do similar things to Sun and Moon. If, like I said, the trend continues with Pokemon performing well, demand being strong, I think Sword and Shield could do similar things. So hopefully this video sort of, I guess, open your minds to the prices you're seeing now of Sword and Shield. Let's say you're just getting back into Pokemon, you just saw these insane price rises, and you're like, I don't want to buy this, it's too expensive. It looks expensive now. It's so funny. Every single time I've thought that something back then was too expensive, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy it, it's too expensive. And then you fast forward like a year or two, and you see where prices are then. It's like, wow, like it's all perspective, it's all time, and it only takes a few years for some of the stuff to see some crazy price rises, especially with out of print products. So, it is hard maybe trying to buying a Evolving Skies booster box for $2,000. It is hard to buy a Fusion Strike for maybe $800, Lost Origin for like $500, some of these other boxes for $400. But really, think about 2 to 3 years from now where that's going to be. And like I said, if you look at Sun and Moon and the trend continues, even if you're buying some of these at $400, $500, $600, in a few years, they may double or triple in value. Obviously, it's going to be hard to predict which one does what. But overall, Sun and Moon, even some of the not as popular boxes that you can see here with like Lost Thunder, they still perform. So just wanted to show you guys this. I haven't actually shown you guys any sort of prices for Sun and Moon boxes in a very long time. I've really just been focusing on like super ultra modern stuff. But I wanted to go back here to show you guys that Sword and Shield. Also recently, it's sort of been prices have been dipping for Sword and Shield because we're like post like the boom, right? I think if you don't have many of these boxes and you want to add them to your collection, invest in them, it's not too late. You still have time. But when they get to the $1,000 to $2,000 range for some of these boxes, then you're like, wow, maybe then I missed the boat. But when these boxes are maybe $300 to even $600, that's not that expensive relative. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you bought any of these Sun and Moon boxes a year ago, because if you bought literally like any Sun and Moon box a year ago, you've at least doubled your money. So that's all I want to show you guys here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.